you through 5 retirement money moves that everyone must make before age 60, the retirement age. This is important because most people don't fail at retirement because they didn't earn enough money. They fail because of what they did not do before the retirement age, whether 60 or 55. They might have missed the moves or delayed some financial decisions, and the things that they assumed that they will figure them out later, they ended up not doing that. And by the time reality hits, it's too late, because retirement doesn't collapse in one big moment. It collapses slowly. It's few decisions that lead to the collapse of retirement. Things like when medical bills start rising, or when income suddenly stops, or when savings begin to shrink. And suddenly, the life that you've worked for a long time starts depending on a few decisions you either made or ignored. So, in this video, I'm going to show you the 5 powerful money moves that everyone who is aspiring to retire must make before age 60. This will help those in 20s, in 30s, in 40s, and even in 50s. But most importantly, for each move, I'll break down the move and tell you why it matters and exactly what you need to do next, this step. So, because if you get this moves right, then you don't just retire, but you retire with dignity, with stability, with structure, and with control. So, without further ado, move number 1, maximize your pension contributions. So, the move is to increase your contributions to a registered pension scheme, whether through your employer or through personal plans. I think they're called IPPs. Why does this matter? Why is this important? This is one of the most underutilized financial advantages in the country today, because pension contributions are not just savings, they are tax strategy. And right now, you can contribute up to 30,000 per month tax free. What does this mean? That you reduce your taxable income, you keep more of your money, and you grow your retirement fund at the same time. 3 key moves. You reduce your taxable income, you keep more of your money, and then you grow your retirement fund at the same time. And most people ignore this and end up doing what? Paying more taxes than necessary for decades. So, what should you do today? The moment after you watch this, if you're employed, what to do is that you increase your voluntary contributions through your employer scheme. If you are self-employed or in an informal sector, open an IPP, an individual pension plan, and start small if need be, so that you just be consistent. Remember the advantages of increasing your pension contribution, because when you do that, you are much advantaged as compared to someone who is not doing that. Now, this is something that most people don't even realize. Move 2. Bring all your pension money in under one scheme or into one place. So the move is essentially to consolidate all your retirement savings into one plan. Why does this matter? Because many people in Kenya have worked multiple jobs, and every job that they left behind a pension account, a small balance, and sometimes forgotten pension money that they didn't consolidate together. And what's the problem with that? That money is normally hard to track, it gets eaten by fees, and it grows inefficiently. So that instead of building one strong fund together, you end up with many weak funds. So the action that you have to do today is this: contact your previous employers or pension scheme trustees. And number 2, request for a transfer of your benefits, and then move everything into one individual pension plan, IPP. One account, one strategy, one clear direction. It becomes very easy for you to track and to just know the numbers that you have. That's move number 2. Now, let's talk about something that is silently destroying retirement plans. Move number 3, build an emergency fund. So the move is to create a separate emergency fund that is completely independent from your retirement investment. Why does this matter? This is what most people don't plan for. And as I've always said, emergencies at one point or the other will come. So life doesn't become predictable just because you are nearing retirement. In fact, I always say that uh, emergencies like sicknesses or death, they don't respect budgets. And in fact, as you near retirement, risks increase. Medical emergencies, job instability, and sometimes family responsibilities. And when you don't have an emergency cash, you are forced to either withdraw from your pension early, you are losing money. You sell assets at the wrong time, you might sell at a low price, or you take expensive loans and end up paying a lot of money. That is how retirement plans collapse. Not because of poor investments, but because of unexpected events. So when you don't have an emergency fund, the action plan is this: that build a fund that can cover 3 6 months of your expenses. Now, this is not cast on stone. Work with what you can start with 1 month, then upgrade to 2 months, then go to 3 months, etc. And don't just leave it in a savings account. Why? Because it doesn't earn you any interest. So channel that money into a money market fund so that your money, number one, stays accessible but still earns interest when it's in a money market fund. Now, after the emergency fund, we move to one of the most important shifts that we'll ever make. And the move is shift from growth to income. So the move generally is to gradually move your investments from a growth focused asset to an income generating asset. And I always say this why? Because once retirement comes, retirement runs on cash flow. Retirement runs on constant income. So you don't just look at assets accumulation, but you look at income generation or income creation on a monthly basis. Now, this matters because when you are younger, your goal is growth. But as you approach 60 or 50, growth alone is not just enough because you don't retire with assets, you retire with income, you retire with cash flow. And if your investments are not producing constant cash flow, you'll be forced to sell them to survive. You'll be forced to offset assets, to offset things that you have acquired, sometimes at a lower price, so that you can have a cash flow that runs your retirement. So the action plan that you have to do today is this one. Start building income streams through the following: Treasury bonds, they'll pay you on biannually. Dividend-paying stocks, they pay you annually. Rental property, it can pay you on a monthly, pays on a monthly. Then real estate investment trust funds pays you on an annual basis. And this is the powerful move that most people ignore. Reduce your cost of living. For example, owning a home or relocating to a lower cost area. Because every expense you eliminate is income that you don't need to generate. Now, let's talk about the risk that wipes out your retirement savings the fastest. Move number 5, secure your medical future. So the move is to set up a reliable post-retirement medical plan. People don't do this. People continue relying on employment medical scheme, which don't serve you. And if some serve you, they only serve you to a small extent. Why does this matter? Healthcare is one of the biggest financial shocks in retirement. And in Kenya, many retirees rely on children, fundraising, or selling assets that they have accumulated just to pay medical bills, just to take care of cancer treatment, just to take care of an emergency. This is not a financial problem, this is a planning problem. So, what should you do today? What's the action? Ensure that your contributions, the medical contributions, are consistent. Number 2, explore private or post-retirement medical covers. Number 3, consider building a dedicated medical fund because one hospital visit, just one, can undo years of your savings. I've got 2 bonus. Bonus number 1, eliminate high interest debt. If you enter retirement with debt, This is one of the worst financial positions. So what do you do? Focus on personal loans, focus on credit facilities before your income stops. Bonus number two, create a retirement income plan. People let things just flow on autopilot, and they don't so so that they don't have an income. But remember that you still need cash flow to survive. You need to pay bills, you need to go to hospital. So people don't create a retirement income plan. But when you do it well, if you structure your assets so that they can produce monthly income, quarterly income, or even long-term income, it enables you to think in long term. It enables you to uh, uh, think like a system and not just as a person who will react when situations arise. So those are the 7 moves that ensure that you plan your retirement well. So if you're approaching 60 or 50, your financial life is entering its most critical phase, because this is where small decisions matter more. Mistakes become expensive, and structure becomes everything that you need for survival. So these 7 moves are not optional, but they are foundational, because retirement is not about how much money you saved, it's about how long that money lasts serving you, how consistently it pays you, and how well it protects you during retirement. And if you have made it this far, then the next question becomes, what are some of the biggest retirement mistakes that Kenyans make? We're going to look at that even without realizing. And so that's what I break down in the next video. So if you haven't subscribed, this is the time where you scroll down, get that button and subscribe.